What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel where we are talking NFL Week 5 underdog bets. There's a lot to talk about this week. There's a ton of games. There's a ton of underdogs waiting to be bet on. We leave Week 4 with a winning record. If you haven't checked out my recap video from Week 4, please do so. I'll leave that link at the end of this video. We're going to look to keep it going this week. I'm changing up my videos a little bit. I am going to show that all of my bets can be proven using exactly one statistic for each team that I'm betting on. There's a lot to get through this week, so let's get started. We're going to start with the Cover Kings. Let's start talking about that Lions at Patriots game. Right now, the Lions are 3.5-point underdogs. The Patriots right now are giving up 24.5 points a game, which ranks about 22nd in the league. Here's my stat for this game. The Lions have scored 140 points so far this season. They've allowed 141. That 281 point total is the most combined points and points allowed through the first 4 games in NFL history. The Lions have lost 2 games where they've scored 35 points or more, which is tied for the most in a single season in NFL history. You're giving me 3.5 points for the Lions against a bad Patriots team. I'm going to lock that bet in right now. Talking Bengals at Ravens. This is a Sunday night primetime game. The Ravens have lost their last 5 games at home, which is pretty mind-blowing considering when anybody thinks of the Ravens, they think a great home team. Not the case in the previous 5. You also look at their first half versus their second half, even just this season, and it's 2 completely different teams. Stat for this game: Bengals have only allowed 5 touchdowns all year. Joe Burrow has thrown for 6 touchdowns. If the books are going to give me 3 points on the Bengals, who have also whooped the Ravens the past couple of times they've met, I'm going to lock in the Bengals at 3 points right now. The surprising Seahawks, 5.5-point underdogs, going to New Orleans and playing the Saints. The Saints coming home from that long London trip. Stat for this game: Geno Smith for MVP. Geno Smith right now has a higher passer rating than Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen. Geno Smith has more passing yards than Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, and Kyler Murray. Geno Smith has more touching pass downs than Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, and his replacement, Russell Wilson. The Seahawks can score, and they're giving me 5.5 points against a Saints team that looks absolutely horrible. I'm going to lock that Seahawks bet in at 5.5 points right now. Next up, we're talking Texans at Jags. Texans are 7-point underdogs going into Jacksonville. Everybody on this channel must know after 4 weeks that I absolutely love the Jaguars. They have done wonders for my wallet, but Jacksonville has dropped 8 consecutive games against Houston, and the Jaguars' last division victory against a team other than Indianapolis was back in 2019, which was a 20-7 win over Tennessee. You look at the matchup history between Jacksonville and the Texans. Jacksonville has scored 101 points. Texans, 203 points. More than doubling the points that Jacksonville has laid against them. Giving me 7 points against Jacksonville. I have to take history on this one. It's a division game. I'm going to lock the Texans in as 7-point underdogs right now. Before I continue, I just want to say, please, if you like these videos, like, subscribe, comment down below. I will be doing these videos, picking underdog bets throughout the year. Also, follow me on my other social media. I do post daily picks on Instagram and Twitter. I do post daily picks for NFL, MLB, NHL. The link to my other social media is down below. Check it out. Give me a follow. And again, if you like these videos, please like, subscribe. And if you have any comments about my bets, you love them, you hate them, you just want to talk about them, leave a comment down below. Let's keep going. We have Falcons at the Buccaneers. Falcons right now are 9-point underdogs against a Buccaneers team that got whooped by the Chiefs last week. Easy stat for this one: the Falcons are undefeated this season against the spread. They're 4-0 against the spread all season. They've managed to come back against good teams. They've beaten good teams. I'm going to be taking that 9 points that they're giving me against the Bucs. I'm going to lock that bet in right now. Moving on to Bears and Vikings. Bears right now are 7-point underdogs going into Minnesota. Stat for this game is travel fatigue. The Vikings declining to take a bye week after traveling to London against the Saints. It's a divisional game. I expect the Vikings to win, but I do expect the Vikings to be a little slow because of the amount of travel that they've done. I'll be locking that 7 points that they're giving me for the Bears in right now. Probably one of my favorite bets of the week, which is surprising because I do not like the Browns, but I love this matchup. You have the Chargers going into the Browns. The Browns 2.5 point home underdogs. Easy stat for this game. Right now, the Browns are rushing at about 187 rush yards per game. They're fourth in total yards in the NFL. The other side of the ball, Chargers, not so good run defense. Last week, they gave up 131 yards to a rookie running back who plays for the Texans. As much as I am not a fan of this Browns team, they have a good roster. Nick Chubb is an absolute beast of a running back. I will be taking the Browns as 2.5 point underdogs against the Chargers. I'm going to lock that bet in right now. You have the Cowboys going into LA to play the Rams. They sit as 5.5 point underdogs right now. Stat for this game, Cooper Rush, 3-0 since taking over as the starter for the Dallas Cowboys when Dak went down with injury. 5.5 points is way too high with the Cowboys playing an obviously struggling Rams team that got whooped by San Francisco last week on a Monday night game. They have it no easier going against a Cowboys defense which flies around that field. I think Micah Parsons could be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. I'm going to be locking in the Cowboys as 5.5 point underdogs right now. Okay, I know what everyone's going to say. I'm being a homer right now. Raiders and Chiefs. Raiders right now sit as 7 point underdogs against a Chiefs team that went in and dismantled a Buccaneers team last week. Nowhere do you find anybody saying that the Raiders are going to win this game except right here. Now, I'm not advocating for people to go on the money line on this one. I will be because I'm a diehard Raiders fan. However, 7 points for a divisional game is very, very high. My rule of thumb is you usually look at the 3 or the 3.5 for any divisional game. Now, I'm not going to lie. Trying to find a stat to back up this bet was tough, but I found one. The Raiders, since 2014, Derek Carr's first year as the Raiders quarterback, 5-3 going into a bye week. What do the Raiders have next week? A bye week. I'm banking on that stat alone. That's enough for me to talk about this game on my channel for the very first time. I'm going to be locking in the Raiders as 7 point underdogs going into the Chiefs on that Monday night game. If you'd like to ride the money line with me, jump on the Raiders bandwagon before it's too late. Everybody's welcome to join. Raiders, 7 point underdogs at the Chiefs, locking it in right now. And that's it. My week 5 underdog bet picks are in. One stat for every game that I've bet to show why I'm betting them. To recap, we have the Lions as 3.5 point underdogs against the Patriots. We have the Bengals as 3 point underdogs going into Baltimore. We are riding with the Seahawks as 5.5 point underdogs against the Saints. We are jumping on the Texans as 7 point underdogs against the Jags. We are going to ride with the Falcons, 4-0 against the spread, remember, so far this season, as 9 point underdogs against the Bucks. We're going to ride with the Bears as 7 point underdogs against the Vikings. We're going to ride the Browns, 2.5 point home underdogs against the Chargers, one of my favorite bets of the week. We're going to cross our fingers and hope that Cooper Rush can continue his run as starting quarterback for the Cowboys. 5.5 point underdogs against the Rams. And we are finishing week 5 with my Raiders, 7 point underdogs against the Chiefs. Love that bet. I don't care what all of the so-called experts say out there. Really looking forward to this game. And that's it for week 5 underdog bets. This season is flying by, it seems. It's been an absolute blast to pick these underdog bets and post them. I hope everybody has a great weekend of football. Again, please like my video, subscribe to it, leave a comment down below. You like my bet, you don't like my bet, all comments are welcome. Everybody go out, lock in those picks. Have a great week 5 of NFL football.